Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today our group want to present about internal control, and let me introduce my teammate. And first is Muhammad Izam Shah bin Hamzah, this is me. And second Muhammad Arif bin Rosman. Third Samsul Amirul bin Samsudin. Fourth Siti Nur Syahidah binti Amdan. And last Khairullah binti Rasul. And first is introduction of ICS. An ICS is a set of policies and procedures designed to prevent misconduct to the maximum extent possible. Errors are less likely to occur if all employees follow these guidelines, and anyone who breaks the rules can be clearly identified. Internal monitoring is a feature of the internal control system that is not found anywhere else. A good ICS enables employees track one another rather than depending on external supervisory authorities such as finance supervisor or we call auditor. The company's control laws are of concern to the first group. The monitoring part of the ICS is more difficult and extensive. ICS can be defined future asset protection. Existing assets should be secure against loss. Then, to make procedures more efficient, improvement records can be employed. The program ensures regulatory compliance by ensuring that all participants obey the requirements. So, what is CIS? In terms of an introduction to the CIS, or we call Computer Information System, information technology has revolutionized and profoundly changed the way business is done around the world. While auditing in a CIS environment has not changed the fundamental of auditing, but it has improved evidence collecting and assessment methodologies significantly. In CIS environment, there are audit scopes that high-speed data can be created in a matter of seconds in a CIS environment. The auditor must design certain entities to carry out the verification procedure in a manual setting. And the second is segregation of responsibilities. When computer system do multiple set of duties, concentrating concentrating the responsibilities of many humans involved in the job. So the typical approach would not exist in the CIS. And the lastly, manual rationality has vanished.
or effect of internet system. So there are three effects of computer information system on ICS which relate to business entities. Firstly, separation duty. In manual system, different persons are responsible for carrying out functions like initiating, recording of transaction, safeguarding of asset does not always apply in computer system. And then secondly is delegation of authority and responsibility. Structure, authority and responsible is an essential control within manual and computer environment. Lastly, competent and trustworthy skill. Competent, well-trained and experienced information personnel have been in short supply. We go to internal control questionnaire. So firstly, there are 20 questionnaire. So firstly is the clocking in or out systematic to the employee? And then second, how often does the system of clocking in or out system are reviewed and update? And then third, does the employee working hours are recorded as soon as they do the clocking entry? And then fourth, does the supervisor always update the progress to the higher up and get the authorization to issue temporary numbers for the new employee? And then five, are the following duties performed by separate individuals? And then six, are there any protocols appropriate for monitoring overtime wage? And then seven, Are there a person who monitorize the procedure in calculating the wage in such tax, overtime, and other miscalculation? And then 8, does the protection for the company network in cyberspace regarding computerized wage calculate in the system be protected and updated often? And then 9, are the payment made accurate? And then 10, are the unclaimed packets of wage accounted for and was secure? And then 11, who delivered the cash for the employee wage? And then 12, are there appropriate records maintained for accumulated employee benefits, holiday, sick leave, comp time, or others? And check for overtime balance prior to the submission of the employee time and attendance report. And then 13, is there someone who monitor the cash when the cash is in courier to the company? And then 14, does the person who assigned to make amendments to the computerized wage get authorization from the supervisor? And then 15, does the cash wages system within the company cover the whole operation in the company? And then 16, is there a second independent person checking the allocation of wage, salaries, costs, and comparing net sums to the authorized budget before disbursement? And then 17, are the staff in the wage department well trained by the company? And then 18, does the calculation rate between overtime and standard working hours is the same? And then 19, does the company have trained the person in charge of wage package the ethical code in the operation? And then 20, lastly, which is there any other department that can access the employee personal information?
Okay, next, I will continue the presentation. I will explain about the flowchart of the company. In sales department will be led by sales manager, and under himself there's are 10 of the sales representative. Sales representative will manage customer account and setting credit limit. After that, it will provide customer file and credit limit document. Net process is paid the sale bonus and invoice of cross sale will be given. Sale manager review representative sale based on invoice. Then sale manager will issue the invoice to the payroll department. So payroll department will make the payment of bonus and also provide payment slip as an evidence. Next step is payroll department confirm customer order with customer order document. Last but not and will be received by the sales representative as a notification.
Based on the case study of Yusrini Sendirian Berhad, for the control objective, the first control objective is to segregate duties. One person is not responsible for taking orders, recording sales, and receiving payments. As just noted, no one should be able to handle incoming customer payments and create credit memos, or else they will be able to take the money and cover their tracks with credit memos. Therefore, assign these tasks to different people. The second control objective is to ensure the records of employee wages is complete and accurate and accordance to the systems. The records must be checked and investigated whether they have misstatement or any difference amount in the records. The wages sum up should be in monthly, meaning that the hours worked within a month must be totaled up and times with the pay of rate. The third control objective is to ensure all sales are recorded. The correct amount should be recorded for each sale. The sales representative must review debtors ledger for credit balance where invoice may not have been recorded. The sales representative should also reconcile the debtors ledger and check all entries to invoice. For the control activities, the first control activities is authorization and approval. To guarantee that transactions are in with departmental or institutional aims and objectives, they should be authorized and approved. For example, a department may have a policy requiring the director's approval of all purchases, requisition, and invoice vouchers. It is critical that the person who approves transaction has the required power and knowledge to make educated decisions. The second control activity is accurate and error handling. This control activity helps to identify the miscalculation over the payment for the employees. Besides, it is very essential for the company to get the accurate transaction to record in the statements of financial. This control activity also detected the errors that come at any stage of processing, so it is easy to report to the appropriate level of management. The third control activity is reconciliation and review. Compliance, financial, or operational challenge may be the focus of performance reviews of certain tasks or activities. Cross-checking transactions or activity records to confirm that the information supplied is accurate is known as reconciliation. Revenue and cost activity on accounting reports, for example, should be reconciled or compared to supporting documents to ensure that the transactions are recorded in the correct and for the correct amount. For the test of control, the first test of control that we perform is to evaluate the company's internal control is observation. We have used the observation method to examine the procedures for the employees. We observe how the orders were recorded and how the statements were sent out to customer. All the relevant notes that we have gathered are used as the evidence. The second test of control that we perform is to evaluate the company's internal control is re-performance. We have used the re-performance to repeat the activity that has done by the company. For example, we have updated all the record of employees to the electronic data file record. By doing re-performance, we can provide that the control is operating effectively. The third test of control that we perform is to evaluate the company's internal control is inspection. We have used the inspection method by review the accounts receivable journal entries. Accounts receivable transaction almost always go through a self-journals in the accounting software that generates its own accounting entries. Therefore, there should almost never be a manual journal entry in the accounts receivable account. For example, we examine the same classification.
Now, we will go to the weaknesses, implications, and recommendations of internal control based on the case study of Yusri Sdn Bhd. For the first statement, we can see the weaknesses where each sales representative leads and manages credit control and can access to the creditworthiness and setting credit limits. This situation can cause occurrence of fraud and embezzlement committed by any of the 10 sales representatives, since all of them have the access to the internal control. For the recommendation of the situation, credit control should be managed by the sales manager. Such risk shall be assessed by governing body and management only. For the second statement, the weaknesses here is the sales bonus are paid based on invoiced gross sales achieved, and the sales manager forwards authorized summaries of the invoices to the company's wages clerk. Here, there might be bonuses paid to the sales representative that are based on non-complete transaction by the customer. To improve this situation, the sales manager should check the invoices first with proof of receipt of goods and make sure the sales transactions are complete. Then the calculation also should be checked and authorized by an independent responsible official before forwards it to the company's wages clerk. From the third statement, we can see the weaknesses is that all customers' orders for the purchase of medical machineries are confirmed by a simple email message sent to the appropriate sales representative. The equipment here and machineries delivered might be fraud orders that can cause loss to the company. So to improve the situation, the customer's orders for the purchase of medical machineries should need authorization first by sales manager. Then the customer's order for purchase of medical equipment also should be confirmed together with customer's order for the purchase orders of medical machineries by forwarding a full and detailed authorized purchase order to Yusri Sdn Bhd's premise.
In conclusion, we can conclude that the principle of internal control system are very important. For instance, establishing responsibility using physical, mechanical, and electronic control, segregation of duties, and independent internal verification. There are also have several weakness and implication of the internal control, but all of it have been suggest the recommendation to solve the problem. That's all for us. Thank you.